Hello, welcome to the RetroCore channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at something very good. This is the X15 from PowKiddy, and it's a lot better than a lot of the stuff which have come out of China recently. This is an Android 7 handheld gaming device, and one that's definitely not to be sniffed at. So taking a look at the machine itself, you can see that it is pretty sleek in looks. It has a nice array of buttons on the front which are all comfortable to reach. On the top of the device you can see that we've got some extra buttons, R1, R2, L1, L2, as well as a slew of different ports. You can notice we have two USB sockets here. Now unfortunately these are not for connecting USB sticks, but they are for connecting external control pads, which is pretty handy. We also got a micro USB port here, and that is used for charging the battery or for transferring data onto the machine, just like any Android device. Next to that we've got a DC input socket, which is quite unusual for these type of devices. A micro SD card slot, a reset hole, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a mini HDMI out. Very nice. On the back of the machine you can see we have absolutely no camera, and that is a good point because I've spent the money on something worthwhile, and in this case stereo speakers. You cannot actually see them, but there are stereo speakers behind these grills and they do work in stereo. And at the very bottom of the device you can just about see here we have a microphone socket. So what do we get in the box? Well, let's take a look. Not a lot. We have the micro USB charging cable and a mini instruction manual at the very bottom, and that's about it. And as you can see, this instruction manual is quite thick for this type of device. As you can see here, it's written in Chinese, but on this side it will be in English, and surprisingly it is in full color. So you can see they're actually taking this machine quite seriously. Upon booting up the machine you're presented with a few Chinese apps, and these apps link to a few Chinese stores to get your ROMs, but to be honest they're not worth bothering with. So what I did is go onto the internet using my PC and downloaded the Appoid application, and this will allow us to download different ROMs and so on to put onto this machine. Now the bonus point with that is we can now choose many different emulators. And we can also put RetroArch on here, but to be honest I find RetroArch to be a complete pain in the backside, so I just went and downloaded a load of separate applications. So we've got Game Boy Advance, DS, PC Engine, Nintendo 64, MAME, PlayStation, Mega Drive, MSX, Neo Geo, NES, Neo Geo Pocket, Super Famicom, SNES, more Nintendo DS, some Dreamcast, that's one of those Chinese apps not worth bothering with, more Dreamcast, Sega Saturn and PSP. So I've downloaded quite a few different apps on here, and don't forget that this thing will play Android games as well, because it is basically just an Android device. So let's just take a quick look and see how well it runs this game. We've got it maxed out with full settings. I wonder how it will handle it. So I'm sure you can agree that that is running pretty well there. So it should run emulation pretty well also. And best thing is everything is controllable using the buttons. Of course it is touchscreen as well. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll go through some of the emulators and show you some games running just to see how well they do work. We'll start off with PC Engine. And here's a bit of a bonus for you. This is Sega Saturn emulation. Now don't expect this to work very well because Sega Saturn emulation is pretty tricky to get right. But will this even run Sega Saturn? Let's find out. Well, it seems to be running this bit just fine. Okay, well that's a bit weird. The music's gone off, but we still got sound effects. Speed seems okay though. Don't know what happened to the music. Okay, let's try something 2D, see how it handles that. Stuttering a little bit there. Not too bad though. I can't see anything from behind this camera. Somehow I don't see it running Last Bronx because this game runs in 480i at 60 frames per second. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to run this very well, but we'll see. Die Hard Arcade or Dynamite Decker that you just saw before Battlegun, that runs in standard resolution. No. Yeah, I didn't think it would run this. You need a pretty powerful machine to run this through emulation. So how is HDMI out on this device? Well, we're looking at the TV now. As you can see, here it is. And HDMI out is very nice. It's quite sharp and clean, as I'm sure you can see. But does it affect emulation? Well, let's take a look at some Neo Geo Pocket running on the TV. And I'm happy to say that it seems to work just fine on the TV. There doesn't seem to be any added lag into the controls. Let's try with a Neo Geo fighting game. Now the image on Neo Geo does seem a little bit smooth, so maybe there's something in the options we can change there. Let's have a look. There might be some sort of linear filtering switched on. So let's go to the options, video. Ah, that's why linear filtering was switched on. Image effect, no, we'll keep them off. Overlay effect. Let's put some scan lines on just for the sake of it, see what they look like. I've got to say that looks pretty good there with the scan lines on. I'm just wondering what type of TV output we're getting. So let's have a look. 1080p video output. Interesting. All right. Let's see if there's any lag in the gameplay. We'll just go hands up. Absolutely none. I mean, it's the same as playing it on the device. Right, let me show you. Here we go. Oh, I'm dead. Right, let me show you when I press the button. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. punch, 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 punch. So there may be a little bit of lag there, but not much. I mean, the game is still playable. And here we are running PSP on the TV screen. Now this is cool. I wonder how this is going to react.
Ridge Racer. The course is in
Okay, if I can power slide, then you know it's good. Okay, controls are working just fine. And actually, I'm going to turn the sound down a little bit on this, because I don't want to be getting done for copyright from good old Namco. They always seem to do me for copyright when I do Ridge Racer. Okay, let's see if I can power slide this corner. Yep, no problem. Oops. I've got to say that is mighty impressive. We're running PSP on a Chinese handheld Android device, which costs around about $60, $70, not too much. And we're running PSP through HDMI on a TV. Very nice. Okay, let's just power slide this last corner up here. And as you can see, the frame rate is good. Doesn't seem bad at all. So guys, there we have it. That is the X15 from PowKiddy. And I have to admit, this is a pretty impressive little device. Yes, it does feel a little bit plasticky, but it runs so much and so much so well. Yes, Sega Saturn doesn't run perfectly, but what do you expect from a device that costs as cheap as this? It runs Nintendo 64 fairly well. You may have to switch a couple of options around in the emulators to get it to run perfectly, but it does do it. It runs PSP fairly well as well, but again, depending on the game, you will have to change some settings. PlayStation, not a problem. 16-bit machines, not a problem. 8-bit machines, not a problem. It plays Android games at fairly decent graphic levels as well. Plus it's got touchscreen and it is an Android device, so you can do things like watch YouTube on it, surf the internet, play all your favorite Android games, even use it as a Google Maps device. Yes, you can even do Skype on this. Basically anything you can do on an Android phone except make phone calls can be done on this thing here. So yeah, I am pretty impressed, and the HDMI out video was also pretty good, as you saw on the TV. So not too bad of a device, especially for the price. So I'm going to put a link in the video description down below. It's really helped me out if you do, if you want to buy one of these. If you do buy one from the link in the video description down below, this was actually sent to me, and despite it was sent to me, I'm not saying it's good because of that. I'm saying this is good because it is good. So I'm actually very grateful for TomTop for sending this to me. So if you can help me out, and if you're thinking of buying one of these, buy one from the link in the video description down below. But yeah, that is the PowKiddy X15. Okay, next time we'll be back with something else from China, and I have a feeling it's not going to be very good. It looks good, but I don't think it's going to be good. All right, till next time guys, keep on gaming and enjoy your games. See ya.